There's a giant crab in a tower. I'm dying with lightning. I have zero script for this, so I'm going to go off total memory. But so we're going to talk about a game that has come out pretty recently, and it's called Vampire Survivors. And I think it is one of the best indie games to come out in a while. And I'm going to try my best to explain my opinion on that. I'm going to try to keep this short, sweet, and to the point. Vampire Survivors is a mow down thousands of night creatures and survive until dawn. Vampire Survivors is a gothic horror casual game with rogue light elements. Not like, light. Where your choices can allow you to quickly snowball against the hundreds of monsters that get thrown at you. And it is a rogue light. But there's a couple more elements to it, I think, that make it a lot more fun. And it varies from the fact that you start off with, like, I think one or a couple characters. I don't know. I'm an achievement hunter with this game currently. I try to every patch update. I believe the developer is like Poncle. You. Every time I catch up on achievements, literally post an update 2 weeks later, and there's 9 more, and it's like 7 hours of my life. But thank you. It is so fun every 2 weeks getting an update for that game. But the elements inside that game are very easy, but provide so much growth. Where you start off with like a couple characters, and you start off with a weapon, and it can range from a whip to the atypical Castlevania, like throwing a boomerang dagger that's in the shape of like a cross, but like kind of an X or, full. And it can range, but then there are also, like, I'll use the term like support items that can then affect even more stats in the game, ranging from, an increase in damage, which I believe is worded as might in this game, or duration, or cooldown, which is like the MVP in the game, the holy grail in the game is the tome. Because cooldown is king in that game. And it's such... I'm going to just literally ding up the fact that the price is in US dollars. It's $2.99. And you get so much content, and it's not even a fully released game yet. And it blows other games out of the water that still follow the early access moniker. They don't come close to how much development comes out from that game, and how much, like, it just seems to have a lot of compassion behind it, and the community really likes the game. Like, you can jump in the Discord and you can see I don't talk because I'm an antisocial annoy. I'm just a lurker. I'm not good with conversation.
Still a piece of garbage.
But you can read it and you can see them talk about like time trials or comparisons, the memes, leaderboards that are discussed within Discord, and it seems to have a solid foundation as an indie game goes. And I cannot sing praises about this game enough. I talked to the couple friends that I have that, like, comparative to lots of other indie games that come out and in other types of even development cycles, this person, with how the game has been built, can literally within 2 to 3 weeks pump out another update, which will add content to the game, which will add achievements to the game, which is a massive middle finger to me every time, because I can 100% that game, and I know I'm not even close to it. And the roadmap he has, or she, or they, it's just they seem to just be able to roll it out, and it never seems to be broken. I don't think there's like an end all be all build in the game. I think some characters I personally don't like for my playstyle, but there was a stage added recently called the Bone Zone.
Everybody in the Bone Zone.
And God, did I hate it. But it was so fun. But I hated it because it was like there's stages I could add into the game, and the first stage in the game and the most recent one, which is the Bone Zone, are to me the hardest stages bar none. And the community can nail me on the cross for that opinion. The OP stage in the game is the inlaid library, and people that have played the game and know about the fact that you can, spoiler alert, you can kill death in that game and get him as a character for doing so, it can really only be achieved in Inlaid Library. And there's a whole mechanic behind it because death spawns at like 645,000 health or something like that. And every level you gain, he goes up by that amount. So you get like 10 levels and he's at 6 million health, if my math is even close to being correct in this rant. And so you have to kill him when you're like level 2. And there's a whole thing on it, but and you're not really killing him at level 2, you're killing him at level 100, but you have to basically survive for 30 minutes at level 2. This game has so much into it and so much depth. And it's like under $5. And like I've seen it blow up several times on Twitch, and it doesn't need a hardcore community behind it. I just wish more people also knew about it. And it has a loving community already with it, and tons of people know about it. It's just like a game that I'm recently working on a video on. Valheim, I think is bad. I think it's crap. And it has like 250,000 plus reviews on Steam, and Vampire Survivors, which is already mind-blowingly amazing, sits at like under 100,000, but it's close. This $3 game has a better development cycle, updates, and patches than a game like Valheim that is a financial success in early access. This little game that could be easily probably put onto a mobile, which I think some backstory to it was that it didn't work on mobile or is on mobile but didn't do as well, or I can be completely wrong about that. It's so cool. And no one is talking about it to me. It's $3 American, US dollar. And there are games like Battlefield 2040. I have more hours. And I've talked about that in the Elden Ring video. I have more hours and will continue to do so in a $2.99 game than in the $100 I put into Battlefield 2042. This AAA studio dropped the ball, and this human is just kicking. And I wish the best on them, because it deserves all of the credit, ranging from the art style to the music to the RNG that makes me want to strangle the developer sometimes. Because sometimes you just want the tome for cooldown and it doesn't drop. It does it so well. And I'm so hype about it. And I've sat on this because I was like, I really want to do this game justice when I have my feelings. And if you can't tell, I'm not exaggerating. This is not a character. I get hype about games like this because they're so good. They do so well. And it just kicks so hard that AAA studios that shell out a $60 game do not compare to it. And it just goes, as I said before, it goes from its art style to its music to its wonderful direction and how it's going. And to me, to some degree, it doesn't really have much of a direction. It's just like a bullet hell endless wave spawner game, and at a 30-minute mark, death comes and you can survive him and you can die, but eventually you will die. It's fact, not subjective. Death is not a concept. He's gonna come and he's gonna murder you, and you can't stop it. There's just so much about it, and the fact that with every update an enemy gets added. They added a level called like the Gallo Tower, and maybe, pardon me, some of it is in, to my knowledge, Italian. And there's probably some pronunciations that I'll never be able to do unless I fully go look them up. Like Gallo Tower, one of its bosses, and there's bosses at certain periodic times, but there are bosses that spawn at the 25-minute marks, and I kind of call them next to death. They're kind of like a good prime boss. Like there's one in the middle of the game at like, I think like the 10-15-minute mark that is a good, like, if you're not great at the game, you're still learning and you're new to it, it's going to be the run killer. At the 25-minute mark, it's also going to be the run killer if you didn't have a proper setup or you're not aware of it. There's a giant crab in a tower. I'm dying with lightning. It's so good. And I could go off on an hour about every nitty-gritty mechanic and character and stat. And the fact that you purchase stats, and it's a refundable like purchase. Like you can go into it and be like, you know what, I don't like this build, or like I'm trying to kill death. There's a certain build you need to kind of follow with that, or certain items you shouldn't be buying with that, or the fact that you get re-rolling. And when you get like levels in the game with the experience bar, you get chests that have an RNG chance to be a 1, a 3, and the spoiler alert, if you've never gotten it, there's a 5 chest. Baby, that's like crack cocaine when you get it. It is such a serotonin boost when you first get it. The music's popping. It's mind blowing. I mean, if you know, seizure warning, it's awesome. This game, to some degree, is slept on. And I know that a lot of people are aware of it, that are looking for it, both in the rogue okay. So hard to say like and light sometimes. The rogue like and the rogue light community are aware of it. If you're just looking for good content, and I'm not meaning YouTube wise, I mean, for some people that want to follow that, fantastic. There are people that have, I think, dedicated a good portion of their channels recently to this game has come out because it has so much potential. But just good game content. It's low fun for literally everyone, but it's just WSAD and spacebar. You can one hand it. You could literally be scrolling through TikTok and like with one hand and just be straight up like going like, yeah, you know, that's pretty, yeah, you know, we're doing pretty good. You can, it's easy. You just need spacebar and WSAD, and it baffles me that it's not more talked about how a game like this, even with the articles that has been written about it, which I'm glad it's been covered to the degree it's already been covered. It should be something that you should be going like, okay, compared to these games that are coming out, this game is king. It's, to me, a very similar Elden Ring game, but for the indie community, along with the fact that the finance, this person has hopefully done well. And I don't know exactly what the split of revenue is. And most of the reviews that come into that game can range from a couple hours to, it seems to be about 30 to 40 hours, which I believe I'm sitting at almost 40 hours, all achievements. Developer? Thank you. All the achievements as of April 27th. And I'm ready for more because I know you're not done yet. There is like 90 achievements in the game, and it's a small price point. It's very easily ran. It's not a large game. I don't even know if it hits a gigabyte, but it does what it does to such a good degree, and it's not even a fully released game. And I don't even care if by the point of fully released, they're done. They are done with content. Fantastic. I'll still play this game. This is a game I can easily pop on and do runs on, have fun. It can easily be a challenge to myself. Please go out and buy Vampire Survivors. I fully advocate to support this individual and what they are doing in the game that they have designed. It is amazing. Please go check it out. It's worth the less than a Starbucks coffee to try and will last you 1,000 times longer than a Starbucks coffee. That is all. Thank you so much for listening to my like power positive rant about Vampire Survivors. It's an amazing, amazing game. And the developer has my best of wishes. Please, for the love of God, go play it if you do see this. It's so worth the time. It's so worth it because it takes zero mental energy to just pop into this game and have a good time. On top of that, you know, just take it easy. I know if you're in a rough spot right now, you know, take it easy. Take it one step at a time and find something you enjoy. You know, get yourself a cup of coffee, cup of tea, drink even. That's what it's going to take. And just, you know, relax, take a breather. Go find something soothing. Go find your favorite album. You know, pop your headphones in. What drink or food do you have, and just relax. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.